The chair now recognizes the Honorable Eduardo Bhatia.
Thank you, Mr. Gallego, Mr. Chairman Gallego. Sounds good. Ranking Member Bishop and other members of the committee, thank you for having us here. I represent the Popular Democratic Party as the ranking member, or I'm sorry, the minority leader in the Senate of Puerto Rico, former President of the Senate. While PROMESA succeeded in providing a fair and orderly yet imperfect debt restructuring process, the Oversight Board has effectively become a supra-political entity governing the people of Puerto Rico in a naked colonial mode, and that is wrong. Whatever happened to government of the people, by the people, and for the people? So any amendments that do not return the decision-making power to the people of Puerto Rico are nothing more than putting a Band-Aid in a bullet wound. Congress must acknowledge that it cannot continue to govern Puerto Rico indefinitely pursuant to the property clause of the Constitution. Property rights was the central legal underpinning during slavery. Slaves were property of their masters who could dispose of them as they pleased. The territorial clause gives Congress property rights over Puerto Rico, which it can manage and dispose of as it pleases? Really? As long as Congress uses and the Supreme Court interprets this clause unscrupulously, the people of Puerto Rico have become property by extension for all practical purposes. We are at the mercy of our masters, and that is wrong. Even the infamous racist insular cases recognize the fact that the territorial clause was not appropriate for Puerto Rico. It had too many people organized in a government with their own language and culture. At first, the insular cases were used to discriminate against us. Later, they were used to allow self-rule and economic development. We are going back to where we started, eliminating self-government to advance powerful economic interests, and that is shameful. In the 1900s, it was the sugar barons, and now it's Wall Street's hedge funds. Only because many in Congress continue to view Puerto Rico through this proprietary lens is that it was even conceivable to submit us to the supra-political entity that is the Oversight Board. The Oversight Board's authority must be limited to just prescribing achievable numerical targets for budgets and fiscal plans, period. Spending priorities and other public policy determinations would then be returned to us. Now, regarding certain amendments proposed. First, amending Section 201B, the Essential Services and Economic Growth section. The identified need for amendments defining essential services as spending priorities reiterates the Oversight Board's unrestrained power and displacement of the government of Puerto Rico's substantive policy-making functions. Such amendments would not be necessary if the government of Puerto Rico had not been stripped of these. The Oversight Board has created a parallel government structure led by expensive third-party consultants. As Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor recently noted, the Oversight Board has effectively become an entity that no one can control. If Congress takes seriously its responsibilities to support Puerto Rico's economic growth, then it is time for a broader program. Congress must enact a permanent fix to Puerto Rico's inequitable growth, healthcare financing structure, and pursue economic development policies tailored to Puerto Rico. Rethinking federal tax policy to encourage private sector investment-driven recovery is indispensable. Either Puerto Rico grows or it will be perpetually subjected to bankruptcy. Second, accountability, access to information and ethical requirements. I welcome amendments promoting access to information and incorporating disclosure provisions, but Congress must also address the absence of ethical legal requirements applicable to members of the board. Third, reconstruction and revitalization. I support the reconstruction coordinator provided its role is limited to that of a facilitator. The proposed amendments do not do that. Aid is not being received by Puerto Rico. People are still suffering. This is unacceptable. Your citizens, my citizens, deserve better. The revitalization coordinator for PREPA is different. It would be granted a power to control tantamount to a federal receivership, and as I previously testified, I am not in favor of that. Finally, Puerto Rico Public Credit Comprehensive Audit. I fully support a comprehensive audit of the public debt. As President of the Senate of Puerto Rico, we passed Act 97, 2015, which is almost identical to that now proposed. My position remains the same. All public debt must be audited, illegal debt rejected, and the rest restructured. Thank you very much.